It's a new year, Saints fans, and although it's been a while since we said goodbye to 2021, tonight marks the return of St. Martin's men's basketball to Marcus Pavilion for the first time in nearly a month's time. We last saw the Saints in here way back on December 18th, and as we turn our attention toward the second half of the season for St. Martin's basketball, we're now setting our sights squarely and exclusively on the GNAC portion of the Saints' remaining schedule. Start of the new year against a familiar foe here tonight. Well, good evening and a very belated Happy New Year, everybody, and thank you for tuning in on a mild and lovely Thursday evening for a single game tilt of St. Martin's basketball. I'm Jeff Lucero, happy to be here with you for the live broadcast from Marcus Pavilion tonight. My broadcast partner, Austin Burns, is not able to be here with us tonight, so I'm flying solo on the call for this one. Tonight's game is a wonderful way to ring in the new year, a GNAC men's basketball showdown between the Saints and the Western Washington University Vikings. We'd also like to welcome in any Vikings fans tuning in tonight. Very nice to have you along for the broadcast as well. This was supposed to be the nightcap of a GNAC Hoops doubleheader tonight, but unfortunately, Seattle Pacific was forced to postpone its women's games both tonight here against the Saints and Saturday at Western Oregon. Here's to hoping that the Falcons program gets back to good health soon. As for tonight's men's game, we'll talk matchup shortly, but first let's chat about the home team. And, well, for the Saints, they come into tonight's game feeling awfully darn good about themselves, and they oughta, with last weekend's dramatic victory over Montana State Billings in the game's closing moments. The Saints have now ripped off 5 straight wins, the Saints' longest winning streak since head coach Aaron Landon took over at St. Martin's just 2 years ago. The Saints got off to a bit of a slow start against the Yellow Jackets, falling behind 8-1 just a couple of minutes into the game. And the Billings lead swelled to 11 as the Saints surrendered 23 points to the Yellow Jackets in just the first 7 minutes of the game. But the Saints locked in from there, working their way all the way back and taking their first lead with just under a minute remaining in the first half. It was Alex Schumacher closing out a 22-9 Saints run with a three-pointer just before halftime. The Saints led most of the second half, but never by more than 7 points. And eventually, the Yellow Jackets came back to take their first lead of the second frame with about 5.5 minutes to play. The Billings lead was at 4 with 3 minutes remaining, but they would not score again. The Saints locked down on D and scored the final 6 points of the game for either team, the last of which coming from the same dude, Alex Schumacher, who scored the team's final bucket of the first half, this time pulling up just inside the top of the paint for a tough, ice-cold Jimmy to literally settle the score at 70-68. The hard-nosed, hard-fought win improved the Saints' overall record to 9-3 and to 2-1 in GNAC play. Again, the Saints' 5th straight win overall. In case you're wondering, that's the longest winning streak in 3 years, when the Saints had 2 separate winning streaks of 7 and 8 games on their way to that memorable 26-6 season. And sure, winning streaks are nice. They're a sure sign that a team is playing well on a night-in, night-out basis. But I think what head coach Aaron Landon had to be especially stoked about was 2 things: the performance of 2 of his veteran leaders on this squad, Tyke Thompson and the aforementioned Alex Schumacher, who combined for 36 of the Saints' 70 points, more than half of their output. But also the fact that the Saints now sit at 2-1 in league play, a much more favorable way to open things up in the ultra-competitive GNAC heading into tonight's monstrous matchup against Western Washington. Well, can they keep it rolling? In order to do so, they'll have to get through a very formidable and familiar opponent here tonight in Marcus Pavilion when they square off with the Vikings in what is suddenly a massive, simply massive game early on in the GNAC schedule. What's on tap tonight? You'll find out when we preview the Vikings on the other side of this break. Keep it live, kids. You're dialed in for the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show. And welcome back to the Saints men's basketball pregame show, and it is time for a quick look at tonight's opponent for the Saints. The Vikings enter tonight's game with an overall record of 8-4, and they are 1-1 in conference play. Already the Vikings have had 3 league games derailed by postponements after starting GNAC play with an overtime loss to Simon Fraser way back in early December. Doesn't that feel like forever ago? Each of their next 3 conference matchups had to be rescheduled before they were able to play Alaska last Saturday, narrowly defeating the Nanooks 94-92. It's been a long time since we've seen the Vikings here in Marcus Pavilion. Unlike the Saints' other in-state GNAC rivals, Seattle Pacific and Central Washington, Western did not participate in the COVID-shortened men's basketball season about a year ago right now. So in case you need reminding, and you probably don't, the Vikings will remain a very, very good basketball program with a handful of guys that head coach Tony Dominguez can call upon to get it done. The first of them, newcomer Daniel Hornbuckle. Man, what a player he is. Not only does he have a very good name, he has a very good game. The 6-foot junior transfer from Portland Community College wasted no time establishing himself as one of his team's best players. He currently leads the team in scoring, coming in tonight just under 16 points per game. But, check this out. He's hitting exactly 50% from 3, 42 of 84. In fact, he and teammate Lucas Holden sit atop the GNAC in three-point percentage. Both have made precisely half of their attempts from deep. Next up, how about Jalen Green? Despite missing 4 games already, the 6'8 junior is picking up right where he left off after breaking out in a big way 2 years ago in his sophomore season. This year he comes in averaging 14.3 points and about 6 boards per game. Another couple of guys the Saints will have to account for tonight, point guard D'Angelo Menace and the big-bodied Luke Lovelady. Menace doesn't score a ton, but he plays a ton. He absolutely chews the clock. He leads the GNAC in minutes played at just under 37 minutes per contest. He's the de facto floor leader for this team. He's also 4th in the league in assists, averaging 4.6 assists per game. And Lovelady continues to be one of the league's best bangers down low, where he averages nearly 12 points per game on 59% shooting from the floor. He also turns in a team best 6.1 rebounds per game. This is a very good shooting team. Overall, the Vikings average a stellar 84 points per game. That's best in the GNAC. But get this, they shoot 52.4% from the floor. By far the top shooting percentage in the league. They also shoot just under 40% from 3 and 71% at the foul line. So here's what's in store tonight. We have the 2 best offenses in the league just about set to hit the deck. The Saints and Vikings are 1-2. They are 1-2 in the GNAC in several significant team statistical categories. Check this out. These are the top 2 teams in scoring. They're the top 2 teams in scoring margin, in field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage. If the numbers bear out, this will be a high-flying, high-scoring, nonstop, end-to-end, good old-fashioned basketball shootout, one that leaves little room for catching our breath. Fans, I will do my best to deliver the action as best as I can possibly keep up. But I have a feeling we're in store for an up-and-down contest for all 40 minutes of this thing. So, hey, go do some stretches. Go get limbered up, everybody. This game promises to be wild. And I have a feeling you're going to be jumping around, going nuts for whichever team you're rooting for from wherever you're watching tonight. Get pumped, fans. Tip Up is coming up on the other side of this break. This has been the St. Martin's men's basketball pregame show on the Saints Digital Network. And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion, everybody. I hope that you did some proper calisthenics because you seriously might tear a hammy watching tonight's game. You will all be jumping around in sheer enthusiasm, unbridled enthusiasm at what's in store for you here tonight over the next couple of hours. These two high-flying teams just set to go at it here in just a moment. Let's quickly bring you some starting lineups for Western Washington tonight. This is probably going to look somewhat familiar for the Vikings fans tuning in with us tonight. There's been a number of different changes. 8 different players have started for Western Washington, but they seem to have began to settle into this starting 5 as conference season begins to wear on. Their leading scorer, newcomer Daniel Hornbuckle, in the backcourt, the 6-foot junior transfer from Portland Community College, joined back there by R.J. Seacrest, the 6'2 senior, and transfer from, check that, he's from Bremerton, went to high school at Central Kitsap. Also in the backcourt tonight, the aforementioned floor general for this team, the 5'10 sophomore D'Angelo Menace. He hails from Kent. Up front for Western, Jalen Green, the 6'8 junior from Renton, and number 25, Luke Lovelady, the 6'8 senior from Tacoma, and transfer from Point Loma, who, I might add, Western Washington knocked off earlier this season, while Point Loma was nationally ranked. For the Saints, there is a pretty significant change to tell you about. We talked about how good Alex Schumacher was on Saturday against Montana State Billings. Well, big update out of the Saints locker room tonight. Alex Schumacher will be inactive, not dressed tonight, unable to go. Schumacher will not play for the Saints. He had 20 points and 6 assists in that very gritty win over Billings, 70-68 last Saturday. He is unable to go tonight. Had some back pain flare up on him. So one of the Saints' top scorers not able to go tonight. In his stead, Christian Hafner in the backcourt, the 6'2 redshirt sophomore, transfer from Des Moines Area Community College out in Iowa. Joined in the backcourt by Jaden Nielsen-Skinner, who was not in the starting lineup for the Saints last go-around, the 5'10 sophomore transfer from Portland State. Also in the backcourt, Kyle Greeley, the other Portland State transfer. Up front for the Saints, Brett Reed and Tyke Thompson. Things underway already, and look at this. It's Christian Hafner getting loose right off the tip. I had barely even glanced up from the rosters. And the next thing I know, Hafner's burying a 3 right out of the gate. So an early 3-0 lead for St. Martin's. The Saints come out. A little bit of pressure along the baseline, pulling up in front of it. R.J. Seacrest. He knocks down the 13-foot shot. So buckets for either side as we get underway. Fans, it's going to be like this all night. This thing could reach up into the hundreds if we're not careful. The top 2 scoring teams in the conference just locked in right here. Thompson goes to work. Shimmies to his left and floats up the 10-foot fadeaway jumper along the baseline. And the Saints connect on their first 2 buckets on each of their first 2 possessions. They look inside for Lovelady. Matched up with Brett Adams. Make it Brett Reed down low. It's been a while since I've called a game. I'm a little rusty. I'll get this sorted out. No look pass inside from Jaden Nielsen-Skinner sets up Brett Reed nicely. And we've yet to have a miss in this game. 7-2 our score early on. Pulling up from the top of the key. D'Angelo Menace unable to connect from and back comes St. Martin's. Skinny drifts to his right. Switch puts Lovelady on him for a minute. Now he'll step back for 3 and bury it. What a start for St. Martin's to get things going. We're 1 minute and 44 seconds into this game, but already the Saints in double digits, connecting on their first 4 shots from the floor, and it necessitates an early timeout from Western Washington head coach Tony Dominguez. This is a 30-second timeout, so we'll keep it right here. But how about this start for the Saints? Connecting on all 4 of their shots to get things going. 2 for 2 from 3. That's a big advantage for St. Martin's if they're able to keep connecting from deep. They've traditionally gotten off to slower, rockier starts from beyond the 3-point arc. I tell you, though, when Christian Hafner is on the floor, accompanied by Jaden Nielsen-Skinner, those are their 2 best 3-point shooters. That percentage is going to tick up more often than not. So the quick timeout from the Vikings, who all of a sudden find themselves staring up at an 8-point deficit. Vikings clear the timeline. Saints drop back into their traditional zone look. Along the baseline, getting loose. It's Daniel Hornbuckle for his first look. Explosive first step. He gets all the way to the rack with ease. 10-4 St. Martin's. Skinny rolls off the screen, whips a pass back to Thompson into the corner for Hafner. Off the back iron. Skinny after the tough rebound, able to secure it from the seat of his pants. Kicks it out for Greeley, raises for three, and knocks it down. Kyle Greeley getting in on the act from distance. And the Saints open the game by hitting 3 of their first 4 3-point attempts, 13-4 the lead. My goodness, up and down action. This is what we promised, and so far this is what we're getting. Seacrest in the corner. He'll try for 3. High arcing shot, and he nails it. 13-7 our score, just barely, not even 3 minutes into this game. Thompson hands it off for Greeley. Absorbs a little contact. Now Hafner, wide open look at it from long range. That one won't go. Reed after the rebound, but it's tapped into the hands of Seacrest. He'll steer it the other way for the Vikes. Minnis settles down for a moment. Now Seacrest steps into a 17-footer. That won't go, and Reed the rebound for St. Martin's. Skinny hands it off for Thompson. Thinks about it 3 steps back. Thinks about it again. Defers instead to Kyle Greeley. Hafner gets it back from Thompson. Pulls up. D closes down. 12 on the shot clock for Skinny. Thinks about rolling one way. A little horn set here from the Saints. Reed comes out to set the screen. Now it's Skinny on the drive. Gets to the rack. High arching floater. Tough angle, but Skinny there able to nail it. 15-7 our score. Lovelady quickly in transition. A little bit of contact beneath the basket on his attempt. No call. And rebound St. Martin's. 15-7 start for the Saints. Scorching hot, 6 of 8 from the floor. Skinny, no look inside for Greeley. Good defense from Seacrest, able to punch that pass away out of bounds. It will be Saints basketball with 11 seconds on the shot clock and an 8-point lead when we return. So the Saints, without the services of Alex Schumacher, their leading scorer in their last outing over against Montana State Billings on the road. He had a team-high 20 points and 6 assists. He's in street clothes like the rest of us here in the gym. But the Saints, thus far anyway, very comfortable without the services of one of their very best players. No doubt about it. His absence will have an impact on this game, no doubt. But so far, so good for St. Martin's. They are shooting 75% to open this game, including 3 of 5 from 3. Stepping back, it's Jalen Green. His shot won't go. Fresh body on the floor. Dakota Ayala able to keep it alive. He winds up tapping it back for Hornbuckle, and he knocks down his second shot of the game. Hornbuckle with 4 of the Vikings, 9 early points. Saints settle into their offense. Skinny drifts left to right. Now rolls around, takes the scenic route, tries to dump it off inside for Marky Adams, who's fresh on the floor for St. Martin's. Somehow Hornbuckle was able to keep that in bounds. Pulls up from 3 in front of the Saints bench. It caroms off the rim. Long rebound out to the Saints. Marky Adams here. Back to the basket, going to work on Ayala. Instead kicks outside for Hafner on the repost. This is Marky Adams. Backs down, couple of dribbles. Goes right up, no good. Over the back, no call. And Jalen Green secures it for the Vikings. 5.5 minutes gone by. Saints with the early 6-point lead. Seacrest here on the near side. Tough pass inside. Not one, not two, but 3 different Saints could have intercepted it. It's Skinny who comes away with it. Looking down low for Adams on the post again. Kicks back outside for Hafner. He'll try for 3 and knock it down. Christian Hafner nails his second 3 of the game. And the Saints build the lead back to 9 at 18-9 as we near the 14-minute mark of the first half. Outstanding start for the Saints. Seacrest on the drive. Kicks to the corner. Bounce pass inside. Gets it back to Seacrest. Goes glass. Lays it in. Nice little 2-man game from the Vikings to pull back within 7. Back to Greeley for 3. That one bounds off a little too strong. Tyke Thompson the rebound for the Saints. Hafner drives. Tries to leave it inside for Green, but for Thompson rather. Good heavens. But Green steps in, takes it away. He gets it back here. And now Minnis on the drive. Jump stop, kicks outside for a Jalen Green 3. It rattles around and falls. And just like that, St. Martin's lead is trimmed to 4. 18-14, 13-20 to play here in the first half. Skinny yells out the play. Quick hands from Hornbuckle forces the turnover. Already the second turnover in this game for Skinny. A transition 3 draws the Vikings to within 1. An 8-0 run a moment ago. The Saints led by 9. That lead all but evaporated. 18-17, exactly 13 minutes left here in the first half. Skinny on the drive. Kicks to the corner. 3 on the way for Greeley. And a flop violation called against Kyle Greeley. That's a warning. Another one will result in a one-shot technical for the Vikings. We'll get a substitution back on the floor. Comes Brett Reed. So the Saints go with a larger lineup. Tyke Thompson, Brett Reed, and Marky Adams all on the floor for at the same time. This doesn't happen a whole lot. Here's Tyke Thompson at the top of the zone. So the Saints now more in a man-to-man look here, aren't they? It's Thompson D'ing up on Seacrest. Seacrest pulls up right in front of him. That shot well short. Thompson tracks down the long rebound in the corner. He steers it ahead. Tries to hand it off to Hafner, but traveled in the process of making that handoff in the backfield, so to speak. We'll get our first look at Kai Johnson fresh on the floor for Western Washington. 18-17, our early score. These two teams both love to score the basketball. On the drive, it's Kai Johnson. Everything worked but the finish. Hafner at the other end for the Saints. Brett Reed looks inside, puts a couple of dribbles on the floor, gets right into the chest of Jalen Green on his way to the basket. Maintains possession, kicks back outside for Thompson. He'll fire away from 3 and bury it. Tyke Thompson with his second 3. And the Saints continue to cook from outside. 21-17 under 12 to play. 5 for 9 the Saints so far in this game from 3-point distance. Hornbuckle with it. Down low, they look for Ayala. Kicks back outside instead. Johnson, the pump fake on the pass, now drives. 3 Saints after the rebound off his errant cast. And it's Tyke Thompson who comes away with it for St. Martin's. Nielsen Skinner now. Guarded up top by Kai Johnson. Rolls off the Brett Reed screen. Now drives. Hands it off for Reed. Spins one way, comes back the other. Adams keeps it alive. Nielsen Skinner picks up the loose change. Fresh possession for St. Martin's as we near the halfway point of the first half. Adams and Hafner come out to set the screen. They kick to the corner for Reed. Spins once again, wants to challenge Jalen Green. Gets all the way to the rack and lays it in. Good patience from Brett Reed, the Chaminade transfer. Finally got the better of Jalen Green, who's played him very well defensively so far. Adams over pursues, but Ayala got too far in deep beneath the basket. His shot clangs helplessly off the bottom of the rim. And back come the Saints, who have restaked their lead at 6, 23-17. Thompson for three again. Nielsen, Skinner beneath the basket. How in the world did Nielsen Skinner find his way to that offensive rebound? No one else went after it. He just was the only guy there making a bid for that offensive rebound. And then no one decided to D him up either, and he lays it in and back to an 8-point lead for the Saints. Jalen Green pulls up. That shot a little bit too strong. Hafner able to secure it. A raft of substitution awaits at the next dead ball. 4 Saints, 3 Vikings sit on the floor in front of the scorer's table. Nielsen Skinner surveying, waiting for someone to pop free. It's Hafner, tries for three, a little bit too strong, long rebound out and into the hands of Kai Johnson, and back come the Vikings. Once again, look inside for Ayala. Now it's Minnis on the drive. Hands it off inside. Look at Kai Johnson. Hang in the air, absorb the contact, and he will head to the line for an and one opportunity once we return. 9:14 left here in the first half, and it's the St. Martin Saints with a 6-point lead. Welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion. It is St. Martin's with an early 6-point advantage against Western Washington in a pivotal early GNAC matchup. Saints 2-1 so far in GNAC play. The Vikings 1-1. By the way, the guy stepping to the line right now, Kai Johnson, he's local. He is a freshman, fresh out of Olympia High School here right across town. Very likely has a solid rooting support cast here for him. Can only imagine. Unable to connect on the free throw. 4 fresh bodies on the floor for the Saints, including 3 newcomers to the lineup, at least 4 tonight. Goy Wang, Velko Ilic. Here is Champ Spencer hoisting a 3. It's a little bit too strong. Somehow that's not a turnover, right? RJ Secret just rolled right over the top of the basketball. It winds up with the Vikings. A weird sequence there. Gives it back to the Vikings. Now Minnis pulls up for 3. Got it. D'Angelo Minnis leads the conference in minutes played per game. Just about plays the entire game. He'll seldom check out. When he does, it's only to catch his breath for a couple of moments. Goy Wang handles. Now he'll stride into a 16-footer from just beyond the free throw line. It's no good. It rims out into the hands of Kai Johnson. Johnson on the drive. Looks off the defender, gets to the rack, but blocked from behind by Goy Wang. Nice job of recovering. And this will take us to another stoppage in play. So 25-22. Our score has changed very little since the last time we took a break. 25-22 hour score. The Saints with a 3-point lead. Burgeoning, interesting storyline here. Western Washington comes in tonight +8 in rebound differential. Well, through the first 12 minutes of this game, they are -8. The Saints absolutely dominating the glass. +8, 16-8 rebounding advantage. Tyke Thompson alone with 6 boards already for this team. Ilic, the big man, the big Serb, reaches in, swats it away. Nielsen Skinner on the run out with everyone with their backs to the basket. So good to see Nielsen Skinner back in the lineup and going full bore here tonight. Nearly gets the steal from behind. Spencer taps the ball into Nielsen Skinner's hands. He runs the floor. Fancy pass inside for Goy Wang won't work, and it's the Vikings on the run out. Foul on the floor committed by Ilic. Don't believe Holden will head to the line. I thought that floor was well out before he got that shot off, but they will send Lucas Holden to the free throw line. So, again, we promised end-to-end action. It's somewhat tough to keep up with all this. I'm really missing my broadcast partner, Austin Burns, on a night like this. We could sort of spell one another by sharing some airtime. Austin, if you're dialed in, hope that you're feeling well soon. I can't do it without you. A little token pressure in backcourt picked up by Western Washington, who have shaved 7 of that 9-point deficit off the board. 25-23 hour score. Saints have so far led the entire way. Now Spencer looking around for a teammate, says, I'll do it myself. Triggers for 3, no good. Goy Wang able to track down the long rebound and keep the possession alive for St. Martin's. Now Hafner handles out between the circles. Ilic comes out to set the high screen, gets it back in the high post, fights through a couple of defenders and steps into a 12-foot leader. How about Veljko Ilic finding himself? That was a tough shot for the big man, but he stayed composed, knocked it home. 27-23 St. Martin's. Little soft spot in the zone, but Green can't do much. Gives it off to Seacrest, 13 on the shot clock. Good hedge from Ilic, who's been very active since getting into the game. Now it's Kai Johnson stopping in the lane. Spins around, shot well too strong off the glass. And Greeley comes away with it for the Saints. Guarded by Seacrest as he crosses the timeline. Skips to his left and leaves it for Hafner. Ilic comes to get it. Backs down on Lovelady. Goes to work, spins to his left, hesitates for a moment, and feathers up a shot. Back-to-back buckets for Veljko Ilic, who's really starting to come on. Talking a little bit with assistant coach Tyler Velasquez before the game. He and head coach Aaron Landon just so happy with the performance they got out of Veljko Ilic over in Billings this weekend. And he is picking up right where he left off. As Luke Lovelady steps into a 14-footer along the baseline, brings Western back within 4. 5:40 to play here in the first half. Things have settled down a little bit. It was super wire to wire right out of the chute. As Greeley feathers home a 7-footer along the baseline, and Aaron Landon wants a quick breather. Calls for the quick timeout at the 5:32 mark here. Looks like it'll stretch to a full timeout, so we will take it as well. 31-25 hour score. 5.5 minutes left in the first. (31-25 hour score. 5:32 left here in the first half. These two teams love to run, and they've done plenty of it. They've also settled into their half-court sets here and there as well. Saints have led so far, wire to wire in this game. Let's see what Tony Dominguez drew up in that huddle for the Vikings during that timeout. Lucas Holden will fire away for the left-handed 3. But Goy Wang steps out and taps him on the elbow. And that's going to send one of the best shooters on this team, Lucas Holden, to the free throw line for 3 foul shots. So Bears repeating, the Saints absolutely just going to work on the glass. They are plus 10. How about this advantage? 19-9. Western Washington, one of the best rebounding teams in the GNAC. They are plus 8 per game on the glass, but minus 10 through the game's first close to 15 minutes so far tonight. Tyke Thompson doing a little bit of everything for the Saints. He's got 5 points, 6 boards, and 2 blocks. He's hit a 3. He's on the floor for the Saints at the moment, along with Goy Wang, Christian Hafner, Brett Reed, and Kyle Greeley. Although Marky Adams coming back onto the floor, he will spell Goy Wang. So the Saints going back to that larger lineup once again. It's one of the largest lineups the Saints can throw out there, with Greeley, Thompson, Reed, and Adams all on the floor together. That should have been a travel, really and truly, when 2 guys go after the ball like that and their teammates. And if either one of them takes a step, it's usually a travel. Thompson thinks about a 3. Defers instead to Greeley. Into the high post for Reed. Looking down low for Adams. Has a position down low. Hesitates on the shot. He's fouled as he hoists it. He will head to the line. Great look inside. Little high-low action as Brett Reed finds his fellow postman, Marky Adams, down low. He works hard and draws another foul on Luke Lovelady. A lot of fouls called in this game thus far. It's 4 on St. Martin's. That was actually the first foul called here in the first half against Western Washington. Adams misses the first but connects on the second. 32-26, under 5 to play here in the first half. Minnis works his way across the timeline. Down low it comes to Ayala. This little move inside as he sets his feet, turns on Adams, and hits the fall-away shot from about 7 feet. Draws Western Washington back within 4. Now Tyke Thompson. The Saints playing without Alex Schumacher tonight. One of their more natural players to slot at the point guard position. A whistle and a foul called away from the basketball. And that one's on Ayala. Saints ball out of bounds with 14 seconds showing on the shot clock. Christian Hafner to inbound for St. Martin's. Ball high above his head, feathers it outside for Brett Reed. Couple of lefty dribbles, really comes to get it. Hesitates, now drives, leaves it for Adams beneath the basket, blocked from behind. Jump stop, gets to the rack, goes strong to the glass and lays it in. Marky Adams on the first attempt had it swatted away, but stayed right with it. Knocked home the second one, 34-28 Saints. Minnis kicks it back, and a long 3 cast out of the hands of Hornbuckle. Rebound trickles out and eventually makes its way to Tyke Thompson. Under 4 to play. Thompson will try for 3 early on in the offense. Luke Lovelady rips the rebound away. Hornbuckle thinks about a 3, now gives it back to Minnis. He'll try for 3 and knock down his second triple of the first half. Cuts the lead in half, 34-31, 3.5 to play. And this picks up a little bit of pressure in backcourt. Hafner unfazed. And now Thompson will run the offense for St. Martin's. Really tangled for a moment with Hornbuckle. Now gives it back to Thompson. Reed spins into the paint. Steps back, now steps toward the basket. Gets his own putback. That won't fall. And the rebound covered up by the Vikings. Minnis waits for his teammates. Here's Jalen Green stepping into a 17-footer. It's too strong. Christian Hafner clears it for St. Martin's. So after the hot shooting start, both teams have cooled off to a certain degree. Both of them shooting in the mid-40s. Hafner for 3, his third of the first half. How about my dude, Christian Hafner? Just picks his spots so well. He's got the green light whenever he wants it. Lovelady gets to the rack. Shot bothered by Adams. Rebound, Brett Reed. He steers it the other way for the Saints. Thompson toes the line. Shires from deep and knocks it down. Back-to-back threes for the Saints, and they're back to their largest lead of the half at 40-31 as we move to the 2-minute mark of the first half. Quick strike offense from the Saints net. 6 unanswered points on 2 possessions. I believe it's Hafner reaching in on Lovelady, and he should be shooting 2 once we return. 1:59 left here in the first half, and the Saints have reclaimed a 9-point lead. Well, I hate to keep hammering on this thing, but I just can't help myself. The Saints now plus 14 on the glass. They are out-rebounding Western Washington to the tune of 25-11. That is a staggering number and a huge storyline so far in this game. Tyke Thompson alone with 8 of those 25 rebounds, nearly out-rebounding Western Washington all by himself. Lovelady good on the first of 2 free throws. Nielsen Skinner back on the floor for the Saints. He missed most of the last game. This was not quite feeling all that great. He had a COVID bout and was isolated for 10 days away from the team. Came back and just was not quite himself. Played sparingly against Montana State Billings. That's what made Alex Schumacher's performance against the Yellow Jackets last Saturday that much more important, because they were largely without the services of Jaden Nielsen Skinner, who's back on the floor for the Saints. But again, the Saints without Schumacher here this evening. Jalen Green had split the defense for a moment, but the dribble gets away from him, and it's Tyke Thompson collecting his first steal here of the half. Down low for Brett Reed. Beautiful setup from Nielsen Skinner. And the Saints back to their largest lead at 9, 42-33. Very impressive first half performance for St. Martin's, especially when you're considering they're doing it without one of their very best players in Alex Schumacher. Ayala nearly travels, turns it over anyway. Tyke Thompson gets his second steal on back-to-back possessions, leaves it for Nielsen Skinner, who races the rest of the length of the court. And the Saints now with a double-digit lead as we're under a minute to play here in the first half. 44-33, but all set up on back-to-back possessions on stalwart defensive performances from Tyke Thompson, who's doing everything right for this Saints team tonight. Ayala from the elbow. That's too strong. Hafner after it. Taps it over to Nielsen Skinner. Hafner thinks about the threes. Double teamed and hawked from behind. And a good foul in backcourt committed there by Jaden Nielsen Skinner, because D'Angelo Minnis had already leaked out well across the timeline. There wasn't a defender within 20 feet of him. That was going to be an easy breakaway layup for the Vikings. Instead, it's ball out of bounds because the Saints are not yet in the bonus for the final 30 seconds here of the first half. Excellent heads-up play from Nielsen Skinner to commit that foul. The Vikings can bleed just about the entire clock, and it looks like they will hold as Minnis pounds the ball into the floor between the circles. Now with 10 seconds left on the shot clock, they look to work. Seacrest with it. Into the high post for Green. Pass bobbled for the moment, tapped around. Let's see who they'll say it was last touched by. That'll stay with Western Washington, but with 3 seconds showing on the shot clock and 4.4 on the game clock. Seacrest to trigger. Looking for some help. Ball deflected by Marky Adams. And that's how the half will end. How about Marky Adams with his back to the basket, similar to what Velko Ilic had done earlier off an inbound beneath the Western Washington basket. He had just reached out with his hand, with his back to the inbounder, knocked it away. Adams does the same thing right there to prevent Western Washington from being able to get off one final shot before the half comes to a close. So 44-33, the Saints with their biggest lead of the game as they head into the locker room for the halftime break. Speaking of halftime breaks, we'll take one here on the broadcast as well, but please rejoin us with about 3 minutes showing on your clock on screen for the St. Martin's men's basketball halftime show. We'll pour over the stat sheet from the game's first 20 minutes tonight, and we'll give you a look ahead to second half action between the Saints and the Vikings here on the St. Martin's Digital Network. And welcome back inside Marcus Pavilion for the St. Martin's men's basketball halftime show. This is Jeff Lucero flying solo on the broadcast this evening. Austin Burns, wherever you are, hope you're feeling good in time for Saturday's games back here in the Pavilion. What do we have so far this evening? Well, how about this? An 11-point lead for the Saints. They have never trailed in this game. This, in fact, is their largest lead so far of this contest. And how are they doing it? Well, how about this? They're shooting 50% from the floor and 41% from deep. Doing a better job shooting the basketball than are the Vikings. 18 of 36 from the floor, 7 of 17 from three. Another huge thing, and I know I've been harping on it throughout this broadcast, but this is just an eye-popping number from a St. Martin's perspective. They are plus 14 on the glass, 26-12 rebounding advantage for the Saints against a very rugged, very good rebounding team in Western Washington. Leading the way for the Saints, 9 points apiece for the backcourt combo of Christian Hafner and Jaden Nielsen-Skinner. 8 more points for Tyke Thompson, who has played out of his mind. He's got 8 rebounds, a couple of blocks. He's only credited right now with 1 steal, but pretty sure he actually had back-to-back steals in the waning moments of that first half. He's got 2 as far as I'm concerned, officially just 1 here in the books. But a heck of a first half for Tyke Thompson, who is in the starting lineup. He's been kind of in and out of the starting lineup so far this season for St. Martin's. Remember, they're doing this without Alex Schumacher tonight. Their leading scorer from the game against Montana State Billings, unable to go here tonight, and their second leading scorer overall, by the way. He comes in averaging 12.5 points per game for the Saints. They're without his services here tonight, so all the more impressive this performance here in the first half for St. Martin's, considering they're doing it without one of their very best players in Alex Schumacher. It is Vikings basketball as we are underway here in the second half. Western Washington in those road dark midnight blue, almost black uniforms. Maybe they are black. I can't really tell. My eyesight's going anyways. Handling now is D'Angelo Menace. They skip it back over the top for Seacrest. Pulls up from the top of the key. Now dumps it off inside for Lovelady. Wants to go to work on Reed. Moves one way, spins back the other. Shot won't fall, misses. But the putback is there. Gathered by Hornbuckle and knocked home. Be back within single digits. Nielsen-Skinner races the other way, switches right to left midair. How about Jaden Nielsen-Skinner, the first player to double figures so far for either team? He's got 11. Nice little mid-range jump shot from R.J. Seacrest. Steps into that one and confidently knocks it down. So back to this wire-to-wire, end-to-end action for these two teams to start the second half. This half starting much like the first half did. Christian Hafner's 3 just does roll off. Lovelady tips the rebound to himself and gives it over to Hornbuckle. Now Seacrest along the baseline. Beautiful move, but unable to convert. Brett Reed has the ball tapped away from behind by Lovelady. Good sportsmanship right there as Luke Lovelady dips down and helps Brett Reed off the deck. 46-37 our score as the pace has picked up considerably. Back to where we were at the outset of this ball game. Nielsen-Skinner gets some directions from head coach Aaron Landon. Now skips to his left, looking down low for Reed. Has trouble controlling the ball and is tied up from behind by D'Angelo Menace. It'll stay with the Saints with 13 seconds showing on the shot clock. So Nielsen-Skinner shaking off those last throes of COVID. He barely got to play last Saturday against the Yellow Jackets over in Billings. But Tyler Velasquez telling me tonight that he was at full strength. He was a full go. And that's very important considering the Saints are playing tonight without Alex Schumacher. Starters back on the floor for the Saints to get things going. That first half performance from Tyke Thompson, man, let's talk about that again. He had a couple of threes, 8 points, 8 rebounds, well on his way to a double-double here tonight. Nielsen-Skinner to inbound. Guarded along the baseline by Menace. Hands it off for Reed. Spins to his right. Now back to his left goes. Glass won't fall. And Hornbuckle covers up for Western Washington. Minute and a half gone by. Vikings have worked the lead down. They've stayed within shouting distance this entire ball game. Of course they are. They're a good team. Now Seacrest picks up his dribble at the elbow, hands it off for Jalen Green on the other side of the paint. Couple of dribbles, gets into the rack, jump stop, lays it in off the glass. Jalen Green just sort of lulled everybody to sleep and just exploded to the rack and pumps in the bunny. 46-39 our score. Just better than 2 minutes gone by here in the second half. Nielsen Skinner rolls off the high screen, gives it off to Reed inside, and he rolls to the rack and lays it in. Great little pick and roll move. Skinny dumps it off for Brett Reed. Strong finish inside, back to a 9-point game. Jalen Green loses control. Tyke Thompson picks it up, but he has it stripped from Hornbuckle for a moment. Hornbuckle gets it back a second time. What an effort from Daniel Hornbuckle. He goes to the floor, and I believe he works Tyke Thompson into a foul call. He does. That's just a heck of a heady play right there from Daniel Hornbuckle, as Marky Adams will make his way back onto the floor. A couple of referees talking things over here between the circles. Not quite sure what that's about. Brett Reed gives way as Adams is back on the floor. And now the referees continue to talk things through. Not sure what this is all about. Now they're going over to the Western bench. No, just getting set up. I think we're ready to resume action here. 9-3 so far on the season for St. Martin's. Western Washington comes in tonight 8-4. How about this start to the season? Saints riding a 5-game winning streak into tonight's contest. Minnis bounces into the high post for Lovelady. Find Jalen Green beneath the basket. And a foul called before Green can release the shot. That one's called on Skinny, his second, and the second in the game on St. Martin's. Minnis again into the high post, this time for Green. Shuffles left, steps back, hoists from 13, no good. Lovelady skies for the rebound, taps it into the hands of Minnis. Down low, it's Lovelady. Skip pass back outside, sets up Minnis for three, and he got it. That was just a very efficient, effective offensive set for the Vikings. They broke down the Saints defense and cash it in with a three. Now Hornbuckle ties up Nielsen Skinner from behind, just wraps his arms around his waist. Nielsen Skinner had gotten all the way past Hornbuckle, and sort of a last line of defense sort of effort from Hornbuckle. That's his first foul. Only 3 fouls called on Western Washington so far in this entire game. That's the first in this half. They went the first 14 minutes of the first half without a foul. Brett Reed with a punishing move to the rim. Thought for a moment he might be whistled for an offensive foul. Instead, it is called against Western Washington. It's the second foul of the game on Lovelady. No player on either team in significant foul trouble to this point. No one with more than 2 fouls. And Reed unable to connect on the first of 2 free throws. For as good a basketball player as Brett Reed is, he'd be the first to tell you that shooting free throws is not his strength, and he misses 2 there. Reed shooting just 37% at the foul line on the season. Minnis spins into the chest of Nielsen Skinner. Now gives it back to Jalen Green. It's returned to Minnis. Sets up Lovelady inside with a nice little tough angled bounce pass. And Lovelady able to finish in traffic. 48-44. The lead dwindles again for the Saints. Beautiful head fake from Nielsen Skinner. And he gets around everyone and blows right past everybody on his way to the rack. Lays it in. And Nielsen Skinner now with a baker's dozen. 13 points in this game. My goodness, he is just an electrifying talent. Jalen Green's touch pass knocked out of bounds by Tyke Thompson. And that will bring us to a stoppage in play. 15:52 left in our ball game. And the Saints continue to lead it. Right now it's 50-44. 15:52 left in tonight's GNAC tilt between Western Washington and St. Martin's, and suddenly Jaden Nielsen Skinner is starting to exert his will on the outcome of this contest. He's up to 13 points on 6 of 7 shooting for the Saints. He's also got a game-high 5 assists in this game. He has been the story here in the second half for the Saints, to be sure. Green, jab step, now drives. Skips it back outside for Hornbuckle, who gets it back. Now they skip to the corner. Inside it comes for Jalen Green. That is Lucas Holden setting up his teammate inside. He is hammered and will head to the line. Jalen Green, just a 53% free throw shooter on the season. So interestingly, both Jalen Green and Luke Lovelady, the two bigs for Western Washington, each of them shooting about 59% from the floor. Neither of them shooting that well from the free throw line. Lovelady is a 56% foul shooter, Jalen Green 53%. But the percentages going the way of Jalen Green there. He knocks them both down. 50-46 our score. Skinny fires a pass down low for Reed. Good defense from Jalen Green causes Reed to mishandle. Able to get it back. Now it's Skinny on the drive. Pulls up from 17. That's a little bit too strong. And Minnis wrestles the rebound away. Look at Jaden Nielsen Skinner get his hand on that pass. Forces the turnover. He'll steer it the other way for the Saints. Comes back to get it. Hawked closely by Hornbuckle. Staggers left to right. Now Adams comes out to set the high screen. Skinny rolls off it to his left. Picked up, spins around the defender. Gets into the paint. Needs some help. And is bodied up and knocked to the floor by Lucas Holden. That's his first, and the third on the Vikings as Kyle Greeley makes his way back to the floor. Christian Hafner taking a seat. So the 5 on the floor for St. Martin's: Greeley, Reed, Thompson, Adams, and Nielsen Skinner to inbound. Gets it off to Greeley. Thompson steps out for the pass. They look down low for Adams. Had position for a moment, but nothing doing. Now Thompson will fire from 3. That one bangs in and out, no good. Rebound Holden for the Vikings. 4-point game, 14 and a half to play. Been a great, great game so far. Now Green in the corner, spots up for 3, leaves it too short. Strong rebound on the weak side from Lovelady. Fights through the contact of Marky Adams. Muscles up, the shot won't fall. He will fall himself to the floor. And he will head to the free throw line. Well, a second ago I was talking about how neither Lovelady nor Jalen Green is all that whippy a free throw shooter. But Jalen Green, nevertheless, knocked them both down. Let's see what Lovelady can do in his first attempts at the line. That was the 3rd foul of the game, by the way, on Marky Adams. Goy Wang and Champ Spencer will wait to check in at the scores table. Likely Marky Adams coming off, and he is. Also stepping away for the time being, Brett Reed. So Goy Wang, not Champ Spencer coming in. Make it Velko Illich, who played very, very well in his time on the floor in the first half. Just 4 minutes officially logged in the first half for Velko Illich, but he made the absolute most of them. Hit a couple of buckets, played very well the defensive end. He's really starting to find his way in the St. Martin's program. So Lovelady splits the pair back to a 1-possession game at 50-47. Saints have led by as many as 11, but have never trailed in this contest. Goy Wang will try for 3. A little bit too strong. Thompson after the rebound. Might have gotten knocked around midair, no call. And now here's Jalen Green, Western Washington, with an opportunity to tie or get within 1. It's Hornbuckle on the drive. Knocks down the floater in the paint, and it's a 1-point game, 50-49. Beautiful pass, slung over the shoulder to set up Ty Thompson for the 3. And that was a ridiculous, beautiful play. My goodness, how did Nielsen Skinner even have the vision to throw that pass directly into the spot Thompson needed to set up and hoist that three? My goodness, what a talent. What an absolute stud is Jaden Nielsen Skinner. Sweet, tender mercies. That was just silly stuff. Now a long three from Menace. Nails it! The answer back. Oh, my goodness. What a contest this has been. 1 point game once again as we trickle down toward the 13-minute mark of the game. Wang outside. Feathers one down low for Elich. Goes to work. Has it poked away from behind. Kyle Greeley has it roll off his foot out of bounds. And Western Washington can take the lead on this possession. Woo! Man, oh man, this is a barn burner of a basketball game. My goodness. Buckle in, folks. This is going to be wild down the stretch. Here's Jalen Green. Faces up on Elich. Tries to step around him, gets to the grass and rolls it in. And Western Washington with their first lead of the game with about 12 and a half minutes to play. 54-53, advantage Western Washington. Nielsen Skinner rolls off the screen, floats up a shot. Was looking for some contact, no call. His shot misses everything, and the Vikings with all the momentum all of a sudden. They trailed by 11 at halftime. They now lead by a point. Green between the circles. Now Menace guarded by Skinny. Back to Holden. He'll fire that lefty three. No good. Rebound. Lovelady had it for a moment. Never really had firm control. Gets on the floor. Who's going to come away with it? It's Nielsen Skinner. Now Thompson trapped in the corner. Able to get it away to Skinny. Dribbles into a double team. Somehow keeps control. Fouled by Lucas Holden, and that will bring us to a stoppage in play. Western Washington with their first lead of the game, 54-53, 11:47 to play. This is St. Martin's basketball on the Digital Network. Well, Western Washington now with the 1 point lead. How have they done it here in the second half? Well, it starts at the top with their floor general extraordinaire. Mr. D'Angelo Menace has played one whale of a second half. He's worked his way all the way up to a team-high 12 points on 4 of 6 shooting, but 4 of 5 from 3. So all 12 of his points gathered from beyond the three-point arc. He's also got a team-high 4 assists. He has played so well here in the second half for this Vikings team. Right off the inbounds, it's Nielsen Skinner finding his old teammate at Portland State, Kyle Greeley, for the easy pass off the inbound. And the Saints, just like that, take the lead back 55-54 with 11 and a half to play. Skinny comes out to get Menace. Dribbles around. Now Elich on the great hedge out front. Down low for Lovelady. Runs into Elich, who recovers. Fine gets to the spot and just stood there, but Lovelady just undeterred. Sets up the shot. Knocks it home. Vikings back to the lead. Kyle Greeley from the elbow. Able to roll one home. Sort of hung in the air for a while, did Greeley. Sort of in a slanted, angular motion. Able to get that shot off. Back and forth we go. Menace almost caught in midair. Holden forced to just throw it off of Greeley out of bounds. And Velko Ilic will make his way back toward the St. Martin's bench after playing several more very hard-nosed, gritty minutes for this Saints team. Brett Reed back on the deck for the Saints. Holden able to get it inbounds to Jalen Green. Faces up along the baseline. Jab step. Now a couple of lefty dribbles. Spins back to the right. Tough shot won't fall. Brett Reed covers up. Skinny has it nearly taken away, and a foul called in backcourt. Whistled against Jalen Green. So the foul's starting to pile up a little bit for Western Washington here in the second half. That's now their 5th. So the Saints a couple of fouls away from being in the bonus. The Vikings had just 2 fouls whistled against them in the first half. 5 now here in the second. That was the first, however, on Jalen Green, so no foul trouble whatsoever for Western Washington. No one with more than 2. Nielsen Skinner trying to set up Greeley down low. Now here's the 6th foul. This one going against Hornbuckle as he gets tangled up with Kyle Greeley, who was trying to post him up down low. That's his 2nd. But that's the 6th on Western Washington, so the Saints will be shooting free throws the rest of the way with 10:28 to play. So the 5 on the floor for the Saints. Goy Wang, Tyke Thompson, Brett Reed, Kyle Greeley, and Jaden Nielsen Skinner to inbound. Tyke Thompson and Lucas Holden exchanging pleasantries beneath the basket. Just some good old-fashioned gamesmanship, no big deal. Thompson sets up Reed, faces up on Ayala. Now kicks back for Greeley. He'll fire for 3. Oh, it sat on the back of the rim and thought about it and eventually just sort of plopped through. How about the shooter's touch from Kyle Greeley? Saints back to a 4-point advantage as we hit the halfway point of the second half. Ayala skies for the pass, hands it off to Hornbuckle. Drives on Wang, helped out by Reed. Leaves it for Ayala, alone beneath the basket, able to finish at the rim. Great job from Daniel Hornbuckle to set him up. Ayala flashed open just long enough. Does the rest. Back to a 2-point game. Now Nielsen Skinner. The Saints offense flattens out here along the baseline, giving Nielsen Skinner a ton of room to operate. He reverses it back to Goy Wang. Into the high post now for Greeley. Takes the pass, turns, faces, shoots. Leaves it short. Rebound Green. Now Hornbuckle rolls off the screen. Has it taken away by Brett Reed. How about that defense from the Saints big man? Now it's Goy Wang in transition, and he's able to hang in midair and knock it down. Back to a 4-point lead for St. Martin's. How about Brett Reed stepping out on that defensive effort to tap that pass into backcourt? Oh, my goodness, things really heating up in Marcus Pavilion now. Holden loses control. It's Nielsen Skinner on the run out. Back to Wang, gets to the rack. Rim check. Oh, my goodness. That's a tough one, but the Saints keep it alive, and it winds up back with Kyle Greeley. Western Washington just sort of gave up on the play. Saints never did. And Kyle Greeley makes him pay, and it's back to a 6-point game with under 9 to play. And Tony Dominguez needs a timeout. 64-58, 8:49 left on the St. Martin's Digital Network.
number 4 for West Virginia, RJ Seacrest, that is his first coach ball. Team 7, West Virginia, Olin Lippens, so shooting at 1-1. For St. Martin's is number 24, Brent Reed. Foul on number 13 for the Saints goalie, Wayne, and that is his second personal foul. Team's fifth at the line for one more shot. Western's number 15, Dakota Idaho. Three-point basket. We have a timeout on the floor.
Well, folks, we've lost the audio through the headset here, so I'm going to do my best to squeeze in tight alongside the camera. I hope that you can sort of hear me through the microphone on the camera setup that we've got. 68-65 our score. We're under 5 to play. Saints and Vikings is continuing to go right at one another. Down low, the pass comes from Jalen Green. Goes through him. Foul called away from the ball. Whistled against the sixth on the Western ball. Western Washington will be in the bonus with each subsequent foul. Finds Hornbuckle off the inbound. Shadowed by Hackman, now gets it back. Faces up on top. Thompson. Bounces a pass into the basket. Outstanding block from Marky Adams. Looked like Lovelady was going to have an easy path to the basket, but there's Marky Adams saying, Now the pass down low for Greeley, but Greeley's shot is rejected. So empty trips for either side. 4 minutes remaining. 3-point game. Pass down low for Lovelady. Drives the baseline. Kicks to hold him in the corner. His pass sails out of bounds. Intended for Hornbuckle. Nowhere near him. That will bring us to our final media timeout. Folks, we're just hoping you can hear something, anything, in the microphone, in the camera. We're taking our final media break. So 68-65, the Saints with a 3-point lead with 3:51 left in this thing. Man, oh man, what a game it has been. We've seen just a little bit of everything. Even the way forward, the Saints is kind of good. He's got 16 points on 7-11 shooting from the floor. D'Angelo minutes doing this thing for Western Washington. 5 of 9 from the floor. 5 of 7 for 3 for all 15 of his points to lead the scoring for Western Washington. Saints ball is in return action. Skinny drifts off the read screen. Good help defense from Jalen Green. Now it's Adams. Tries to go to work. Winds up on the seat of his pants. So head to the line for 2 shots after he was hammered. Absolutely crushed by Jalen Green, but into the basket.
At the line for 2 shots, 32.
Shooting 2 for the rest of the game. Quiet night offensively for Marky Adams. 3 points. 1 of 3 shooting from the floor. He's 1 of 2 at the foul line. Right and true on the first of the 2 free throw attempts. Back to a 2-possession lead for St. Martin's. A ton of basketball left in this game. We do want to apologize, folks, for going about this a little bit non-traditionally here. The audio from the headset has gone out, so we're doing what we can make and do, trying to
quarters up here, but whatever we can do to bring you the action for the rest of this game. Green flashes wide open to the top of the paint. His shot, too strong, rebound, ripped down and cleared by Brett Reed. 3:10 to play. The Saints with a 4-point lead. After it, he's been quiet in the second half. Brett Reed on the drive, has it taken away by Jalen Green. Back down, body this time, stripped it away. Now it's Hornbuckle the other way. His three too strong, but look at R.J. Seacrest, sky for the rebound. A held ball called beneath the basket. It is a held ball. Russian arrow favors the Vikings. So we'll keep it here with 20 on the shot clock. We're under 3 minutes to play now. 2:54 left in the game. Biggest lead of the game for St. Martin's, 11. Largest lead for the Vikings, just 1. Brown comes all the way out for Minnis, out near the timeline. The Vikings will run their stuff. 2-3 zone. Minnis on the drop. Bodied up by Hafner. He has head to the line.
Number 3, Christian Hafner. That's his first personal. Saints now lead
we can pick up the audio through the microphone on the camera, so I guess this is working as best we can do it anyway. Minnis toes the line. He earns the bonus after knocking down the front end. Foul whistled against Christian Hafner, just his first. No player in significant foul trouble. Hornbuckle's got 3 for the Vikings. Marky Adams with 3 of his own for St. Martin's. 2-point game as we do the 2.5-minute mark. Skinny leaves it for Brett Reed. Raises with a two-handed punch. Back to a 4-point game. How about Jaden Nielsen Skinner? Now it's Minnis splitting the D. Leaves his shot short, but a loose ball. Listen, it's Western Washington. I was certain that was going to get St. Martin's. Instead, it's Christian Hafner retreating to the free throw line. Make it Tyke Thompson now. Shoot the double bonus for the Saints. That was the 10th foul on the Vikings. It's a loose ball foul, so it is a 2-shot opportunity for the Saints. And now the referee heads over to the scorer's table. We're going to get an official's review on this. So we'll step away for just a moment while the referees look things over at the table. A quick review. I think they were just going over to see who would shoot the free throws for the Saints. It actually turns out that it's neither Tyke Thompson nor Christian Hafner. It will in fact be Brett Reed at the line. Well, this is a double bonus opportunity. 2 shots upcoming. At the line in this game, he's over 40. Seacrest and Lovelady will take a seat for Western Washington. Reed is good on the 2nd and 2, and the Saints lead is back up to 5. Hornbuckle. Leaves it off for Green, now gets it back. Kick to the corner. 3 for Holden. Way too strong, ball lands harmlessly in the hands of Thompson, but he's a little lackadaisical with the pass. And Minnis able to knock it out of bounds. Oh, Minnis nearly had the steal. Now full court pressure picked up in backcourt by the Vikings. Nielsen Skinner needs help. Hits it in the form of Christian Hafner. Now Thompson. Under 2 to play. 5-point game. Huge implications in the GNAC in this one. will step away. It's the Saints with a 7-point lead. Well, during the timeout, I know our producer, Sidney Henderson, flipped that putback dunk from Marky Adams for you. Oh, my goodness. What a play. Right guy, right spot, Marky Adams flushing it.
Call the timeout.
The Saints have 3 possession lead. Minute 37 left. Still a lot of time for the Vikings. They got to go fast there. Hornbuckle starts it. Look down low for Allen. Taken away by the Saints. A couple different dudes converge on him to take it away. After nearly tied up near the score center, able to get it away to Brett Reed. And we'll see who that foul is. He's called on the foul of a foul. Foul Reed or the foul. Which of those two dudes is going to get it?
2 shots. Will be the Saints for the 24. Brett Reed.
1-5 tonight, but made his last one. That one falls. 8-point game now. Reed a little strong on the second. Time becoming very much a factor for the Vikings. Nearly a travel for Menace. Now Adams bodies up on Ayala. Make it Loveland for each basket. Adelson.
Foul number 32 for the Saints. Fourth personal foul.
That's
At the
the
line
fourth
for
on
Western number 25.
They look for all the world like Ty Thompson was absolutely going to have a double-double tonight. He had 8 points and 8 boards at halftime, but has yet to collect a rebound here in the second half. However, we do have a Saint with the double-double now in this game. It is Jaden Nielsen Skinner who collects the rebound there to go along with his 13 points and 10 assists so far in this game. Jaden Nielsen Skinner, you might have heard that through the microphone here on the camera. Hollering out in frustration as he had just set up Adams beneath the basket for what was going to be a staggering, punishing two-handed flush. He said he's fouled from behind. He'll head to the line. 8-point lead for the Saints. They have led nearly this entire game. Western Washington took 2 leads. Only led by as many as 1 point, if I'm not mistaken. Otherwise, it's been St. Martin's leading this contest. Nielsen makes the first. No good on the second. Brett Reed commits the foul over the top. That'll send Jalen Reed to the line.
Foul on the Saints number 24, Brett Reed.
That's the 9th foul on the Saints. This will just be the final 1-and-1 opportunity for the Vikings.
1-1 for Western, number 22, Jalen Green.
Hardly a dead-eye free throw shooter. Again, both Green and Loveland shoot better from the field than either of them do at the foul line. Green dips at the knees. Eyeballs in front of the rim. And his first cast is good. So Jalen Green earns the bonus. Within 9 points, make it 10 tonight now. Using double figures. Leading 4 tonight for Western Washington. D'Angelo Menace. He's got 17. Green good on both free throws. Blows the kiss to the crowd. As the Vikings set up in their full court pressure in backcourt. Nielsen Skinner gets to the cross. to the rack, lays it in. Saints going more aggressively on that possession. Now Hafner commits his second foul. That's the team's team. So both teams shooting 2 free throws the rest of the way. 9-point lead. 4-3 mark. Unable to cash in on either one of those free throws. Now this thing beginning to slip away from Western Washington. Kyle Green will head to the line as Hornbuckle commits his 4th foul. They're really good on the first of 2 attempts. Back to a double-digit advantage. More importantly, a full possession advantage for the Saints. All back on the floor as Hornbuckle and Lovelady make their way back to the bench. And really good on both foul shots. So back to the lead the Saints had at halftime, their largest of the lead, 80-69. Minnis holding back to Minnis. Walk for the 3 now drives. Bounces a pass inside for Seacrest. He goes down, throws it in. Shot clock off for the rest of the game. Tries to commit the foul and can't. Out of time coming off the clock before Seacrest steps out. Back to the free throw line. How about this? If the Saints can hold on, and it surely looks like they will, they will move to 3-1 in the GNAC. This would be their 6th win in a row. Really icing things up here in the game's waning moments. That's 3 free throws in a row for the Portland State transfer. Make it 4, and the Saints back to their largest lead at 11. Just under 16 seconds showing on the clock. And he lets the ball roll out near the timeline. Actually all the way to the timeline. He'll pick it up and go. Gotta go quickly. Steps into a 3. That one too strong. Rebound time. Thompson, and that's gonna do it. St. Martin's is going to defeat Western Washington and improve to 3-1 in the GNAC. This is their 6th win in a row, 10th overall. How about this? The Saints win this game by the same lead they had at the halftime break, 82-71. 10-3 now. The Saints on the season, 3-1 in GNAC play. Fans, I think we will skip the post-game show because it just feels kind of goofy standing here talking into this camera. Did our best with what we had. How about this win? By the way, we've got an update too for the schedule for Saturday's games. The women's game originally scheduled for 3 p.m. will now tip off at 5:15. The men's game also moved back from 5:15 to 7:30. So new game times for our games on Saturday. It'll be a GNAC doubleheader here in Marcus Pavilion. Again, the women's game starts at 5:15. The men's game will follow at about 7:30 that night. With this 82-71 win, the Saints are rolling. They are feeling it, and they did it without Alex Schumacher. How about that? 6 wins in a row for the Saints. They'll go for 7 right here in Marcus Pavilion come Saturday evening. That's going to do it for us here on the broadcast. So on behalf of our executive producer, Sydney Henderson, doing her best over here to keep things rolling along. She rolled right through our audio crap out like a champion. We did our best here, folks. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We will see you right back in here in Marcus Pavilion on Saturday for 2 more Saints basketball games. Again, game times changed from 3 and 5:15 to 5:15 and 7:30. We'll see you right back here in Marcus Pavilion for more Saints basketball come Saturday. Good night, everybody.